Alright, so as I mentioned, this is social media week. We're going to spend today and Thursday talking about social media. I've already mentioned this. We have a minor in social media. It's going to be awesome. So if you guys are interested in getting a minor in social media, come see an advisor, okay? Alright, so first off, let's start off. We're going to go straight into the principles. Some of these are intuitive. Some of them you might not be aware of. First off, yes ma'am?
Could you turn on the TV?
Certainly. First off, one of the beautiful things about social media is that it allows you to get users to do the work for you. I mean, you pass things around and you let users share your work and do all the publicity. Social media clearly allows for two-way communication, and we know, come on in. Is it Tim?
Yeah.
All right, come on in. We're just talking about the principles of social media. So, social media will allow you to do two-way communication. And what we've talked about pretty much every class period up until now is that two-way communication helps you build dialogue. And through building dialogue, it helps you build relationships, because ultimately, public relations is about relationships. Social media also allow you to engage with a brand. And the more you engage with something, think about this. The more you guys are engaged with SFA, football games, different organizations and things like that, the more you build them into your identity, and the more you walk away with your organization or football or whatever as a part of your identity. Social media allows you to do this with brands. The more you interact with brands, and this is what brands are hoping for, is that you will build some sort of loyalty. You will build the brand into your identity and walk around and share that identity with other people. Social media also allows you to do a little bit more precise targeting than we can do with like radio, television, things like that. You can buy data and hit the people with the advertising, or hit people with advertising, or the exact people you want to hit with advertising, courtesy of social media. And then finally, actually there are probably more principles than this, but these are the big ones right here. These are the ones that are going to be on the exams. Social media will facilitate environmental scanning. Remember when we were talking about environmental scanning? What is environmental scanning? Anybody tell me? What's that?
Isn't it a fix that's going on in the organization?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it to like fix something that's going on in the organization?
Things could be going on within the organization, so you could use social media to kind of scan the internal environment. And remember, you want to deal with issues before they become problems, and then later they become crises. So that's what environmental scanning allows you to do, particularly with Twitter, who all uses hashtags to search for things. But you guys aren't the only one. Companies do this, organizations do this, and by searching through the hashtags, it helps us kind of keep up with what people are saying about us. And shortly we'll have our guest speaker, Taylor Grimes, and she's going to tell us about Gradientit. And Gradientit is pretty much dedicated to figuring out, it's a software that allows you to figure out what's going on in different social media simultaneously. Alright, so environmental scanning. Let's take a look at this campaign. This is a Dutch airline right here. And has anybody ever heard of KLM? Not a lot of people going to Amsterdam these days. You have?
I've heard about it.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at this video they produced. They show us how they do their social media. It's a promotion on Facebook that they were using. Oh no! Don't do this to me today.
The sound is off on the YouTube.
Oh, thank you.
As you may know, Delphi ware is a big part of that tradition. For centuries, houses in Holland were decorated with Delphi blue tiles. Now, we invite you to have some fun with it. Find KLM on Facebook and create a Dutch tile out of your profile picture. Add your inspirational saying and share the fun with your friends. Join the contest You may get your self-image portrait on a real KLM plane, which will fly across the world on journeys of inspiration.
Now, admittedly, this may be a few years before you guys' time, but anybody tell me what's going on in this promotion? I'm sorry?
They're showing Facebook.
Yeah, it's involving Facebook. What else?
They're trying to get like their public involved with their company.
Yeah, they're engaging their publics through this. What else?
I guess it's a way to promote the airline as well, make people feel like a part of it, make them feel comfortable, and all that other good stuff, like the cool plane and stuff.
Okay, so it's kind of like a up and coming or hip, I guess. Would you guys agree with that? It's kind of a hip thing to do to get people, engage people through Facebook. Excellent. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much as the principles say. What's going on is they're engaging people, and if you're using their Facebook app to help, come on in, if you're using their Facebook app to end up promoting yourself, you're also promoting to your friends in a sense. So you're doing the publicity work for them. You're building the brand into your own personal identity, and we've got a lot of complex stuff going on in this promotion. Let's take a look at another one real quick. See how many principles you guys can see going on in this one. This was a Twitter campaign.
If I could cross-gender and vegetarian, that would make me very happy.
That's not right. That's an ad.
São Paulo is the most populous city in the Southern Hemisphere with over 20 million inhabitants, and it's also the stage for one of the biggest music fests in Brazil, the Planeta Terra Festival. In 2010, Volkswagen saw this event as an opportunity to bring youngsters closer to their trendy car, the Fox. The question is, how do we let the rest of São Paulo know that the Fox will be at the Planeta Terra? First, you point out what they need to hear. Then, you give them what they want. Tickets for the festival. Only not that easy. We hit them in 10 different places within the city. In order to find the lost tickets, people had to tweet Fox at Planeta Terra. The mechanic was simple. The more tweets, the closer the zoom gets. The first one to arrive won a pair of tickets. A few minutes later, another race began. This went on for 4 days straight. The hashtag Fox at Planeta Terra literally flooded the microsite, and people found many ways to push the zoom forward. There were users calling upon other users, losing body parts, or simply adding the hashtag to their daily tweets. During 4 days, the Fox was a trend topic in São Paulo, reaching a target audience of no one else than São Paulo.
Has anybody tweeted till their fingers fell off?
Well, until Twitter locked me out.
Wait, until you got locked out? Really? What happens? How did that happen?
When you tweet too much in like a certain amount of time, they lock you out.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't tweet enough to do that. Has anybody else been locked out of Twitter? What about Facebook? And sometimes if you overpost something or overshare something on Facebook, they end up suspending your account for doing something that kind of cuts down on your ability to use it. All right, so it doesn't matter whether it's digital, traditional. All communication starts with some basic things, and we talked about this previously in our different PR classes. But it always begins with target audience public, or a target audience or public. You've got to know, you've got to do your homework, and you've got to research your target audience to find out their wants, their interests, their needs, their values, so that you can create messages that are going to resonate with them properly, right? You also need to have a goal or objective. This is where the term strategic communication comes from. Strategic basically means it's got a purpose behind it. And our goals and our objectives, these are our purposes, things that we want to accomplish as a result of communication with different people. Come on in. You should also identify one key thought to communicate. Whenever you've got a multitude of thoughts, then things can get jumbled up, and you want to have clear, concise, and also consistent communication with your different publics. But this is probably the bottom line right here. You get your best ideas from doing good research. You've got to understand the situation and the client well enough to produce messages that are going to resonate with the different publics. So, I mean, ultimately, you got to do your research. You got to do your homework. So, with that, are you ready?
Yes,
I'm going to go ahead and introduce Ms. Taylor Grimes. Do you have a PowerPoint or anything?
No, I'm looking for Gradientit.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll give you an introduction. Taylor Grimes has done extensive work at SFA in all kinds of organizations. She's done campaigns for Pride and ACT. She's currently working on a campaign for the United Way. She's a very extraordinary individual. She's currently the treasurer of Public Relations Student Society of America, so she's got some power in the organization. She started as an intern at Berkshire Brothers, and they liked her work so much that they pretty quickly, I'd say within a couple of months, hired her permanently. Part of the PR operation at Berkshire Brothers involves social media, and in recent months she's become an expert in both in strategic communication and social media strategy, but also in Gradientit as well. So please welcome Taylor. She's going to walk us through some awesome stuff, and please give her a warm welcome. I'm glad you were able to come.
Hi guys, sorry I'm logging in so I can show you all sort of what this is. So Dr. Madison, I saw he just gave y'all the PowerPoint presentation about social media. I've seen that one because I've been there. So what I wanted to do is sort of show you two ways we monitor social media and also how we post across multiple platforms. So one of the things we do for that, to monitor social media, we use a website called Gradientit. And so right here, and I'm going to show you all how we created this. This is monitoring something called Big NAC. Have y'all heard of it? It's a music festival coming here in Nacogdoches. So it's in March, and it's from, I think, the 5th to 7th. I can't remember exactly. They asked us to be presenting sponsors of it. So that's like a $10,000 commitment, which is like, that's a lot of money sort of for something we didn't have budgeted. So they wanted to monitor how I was doing on social media, see how people are talking about it, see if the company that's coming and asking for all this money, they're talking about it. So what we do for that is, and I'll just go ahead and I'll create this from scratch. We create, this is called a topic profile manager. And so you can see here on the left, we have all these different topics we're monitoring. We're Berkshire Brothers, so we're monitoring that. But we also just bought a company in March. If any of y'all are from like the Dallas area, called David's Foods. It's a supermarket chain of about 25. They're in smaller places up there. We just recently purchased that. We also, this one called PR, that's mine because on top of doing social media, I came in as a public relations intern. So I came there and they wanted me to be the feet in Nacogdoches, sort of like, I went to all the Blueberry Festival meetings. Hi, Kayla. I didn't even see you. We went to all the Blueberry Festival meetings. I helped with that. And that's sort of what my first big thing was with Berkshire Brothers. And I got everything arranged for that. I have binders on binders full of notes from the Blueberries Festival. And we talked back and forth with the Chamber of Commerce, everything like that. So the PR one's sort of mine. But any promotions we're running, this was a test. That's how I learned how to use this. We're monitoring two big competitors that are happening. So there's rumors of a Walmart coming to a small town. We have a store called Hudson. And then in Wimberley, if any of y'all are familiar with that, 30 minutes away from Austin, they're coming in with an H-E-B. So we monitored that, see what people's reactions are, and see what they think in comparison to Berkshire Brothers. So I create, so in PR, when you come here, I label it whatever I want. I can add a new topic profile, and then I choose a keyword. So I'm monitoring Big NAC. Now, what happened if I just did that? We found a whole bunch of people were misspelling Big Mac, like the burger. And so they're like, just got a Big Mac, and that's not what we wanted. So, and it was like, and it was, you'd be surprised by how many people like tweet, like, just got a Big Mac and things like that. You're like, okay, calm down. But we actually pay for the service. We spend about $20,000 a year for Gradientit and Social Studio. And so with that money, we actually are allowed to see 170,000 posts before they start charging us more. We're also allowed to have 100 topic profiles. We only have 14 running right now. But that's because our company, Berkshire Brothers, only has 150 stores. So we don't actually, which may sound slightly big, but it's not in comparison when you think of like Kroger's, you think of Walmart, you think of H-E-B. 150 stores is nothing compared to that. And so we don't have a whole bunch of topic profiles managing each location or anything like that. So what we did is we added the keyword Big Mac in here. And then we added words to help filter out all the Big Mac. I just had a Big Mac thing. So Texas, Nacogdoches, festival, and music. So if it had those words in it, it's going to pop up on Gradientit. Then we can go down and we can add subjects here. And so if I wanted to add a certain sentiment, so if someone's like happy about it, you know, you can put that you want them, if they say like happy or if they're expressing like a positive emotion, it would pull up things like that. This is also, this lets us see sort of if it's an average engagement, we can put in what we care about. So we care, obviously the most important is actual posts about this, about Big Mac. But we don't really care if it's a unique one, someone we've never seen. We don't really care what the engagement is. We don't care if someone likes it or favorites it. We just want to know. So from there, let's go back to here. So I already have that set up. So I'm going back to my dashboard, and this is where I actually get to see everything. So this is called A River News. And so the last thing that was posted about Big Mac was by someone named Brooke Burns on October 26th at 6:10 p.m. She said, Big Mac Music Festival, book it, and she tagged someone. So we can see, and from there I can see how many people she's following, how many followers she has, how many updates she's had, and then from here I can like it. So if I think it's a good post, if I think it's a bad post, I can mark it and let us know. And that goes back to the sentiment. So if I want to see only happy ones, I've marked this, and so when I go back and I add sentiment in there, it will only show ones that I've marked as happy. From there, it will show me the top 10 posts. Now, this does not have that many posts. You can see up here, total number of posts. There's only 7 people actually talking about Big Mac in the last 30 days. I have it set to look for the last 30 days. That's not a lot, especially for a huge music festival that's supposed to be coming to Nacogdoches. This is, it doesn't look super promising. And then the workflow, when this comes up, I can assign it to someone. So the other lady, there's 2 people who run social media at Berkshire Brothers. It's me and another lady named Stacy Hodges. So if I wanted to assign it to someone, I could. If I want to say it's new content that's not been reviewed, I can go ahead and mark that. And so the other person on this account, Stacy, she can see what see that I said I haven't reviewed this, I haven't dealt with it or anything like that, which I think is really interesting. You can see down here some of the posts. Posts from Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce, which we work really close with. They're saying, the discount tickets are available now. A post from Nacogdoches Main Street, and that's what most of these posts are. But from that, we can, and this is a word cloud. This lets us know what people are saying the most about in this. So, when all these posts, people are absolutely using the word music. They're using the word festival. They're using Big and Nac. And then some of the other words they're saying as well is all in there. So that's one of the cool things that we can see. This is this dashboard is the Berkshire Brothers one. So this is live. As soon as someone tweets it, Dr. Madison tested this out in one of my other classes because I was showing.
That's right.
You see, it will pull up almost instantly when people are talking about it. So this is like a negative one right here. They're talking about how H-E-B needs to come to Victoria. So we can go ahead and we can knock that down. Things like this, you see. And then, if I want to be really creepy, and sometimes I have to be, this is, can we talk about Bailey from David/Berkshire Brothers? No? Okay. And I can see that. So this also goes maybe into what y'all want to look at for your social media. I know it sounds creepy. companies do this all over. We have a weekly conference call I get on with a guy named Chris, and he works also with GM. GM has 30 people designed to their social media. So when you're tweeting at GM, there's 30 people at GM who are specifically hired to handle social media comments when people come in and address it. So that's a lot of people compared to the 2, and I have so many other responsibilities other than just social media. So that just gives you sort of an idea. If your account is not private, if your account or your poster said share to friends of friends or anything like that, and I can see it. Like Dr. Madison, I don't know if did you just tweet?
I just did.
Okay. We're going to give it a couple more minutes to see.
Would you mind if other people tweeted too? I mean, is there a particular hashtag that sets it off, or are there several?
Well, we have on Berkshire Brothers, we have a bunch of different ones. We have Berkshire Bros, Berkshire Brothers. We found T-Barn. We own all the tobacco barns, so we own like 30 or 40 of them in this area. So that's why T-Barn's coming up. There's also someone on social media who has the handle at T-Barn, so we always see those tweets at them, which can be a bit annoying because they're real popular. For that one, there's a bunch of different things set up for Berkshire Brothers. We have keywords. We have B-Bros Bucks, Berkshire Bros, hashtag Berkshire Brothers, at Berkshire Bros, Berkshire Brothers, with space, without a space. So we added all those in. On top of that, we also have your keywords. You can look at Buc-ee's, Cormie's. Cormie's, we own one Cormie's. It's in Louisiana. It's like this one-off. It's like a Buc-ee's for Louisiana, and it's in Lake Charles. So we monitor all that on there. I'm not going to mess with it, so that way it's not messed up for Stacy. But so that just that's sort of how we monitor and keep up to date with what's being said about our company. Another way, and we'll give it, I'll come over here and when I come back, Dr. Madison's thing should be pulled up. Chris likes to say, he's the guy that I speak to weekly about this, he likes to say that we have between a 1 to 5 minute delay, depends on everything that's going on. Gradientit is directly tied into Twitter. They have an agreement with Twitter, so when tweeting and things like that come up, you can actually, that's why it's sort of real time. Facebook takes between 6 to 12 minutes. So this is another site we use. You can see up here in the corner, it says Gradientit plus Buddy Media Social Studio. So what we do from this is we actually do 2 different things. We post all our Facebook and Twitter things from here, and and that lets it post on multiple sites. We can schedule it far out in advance. So one thing that we have scheduled, you see it says scheduled for November 6, 2014 at 9:30. This is a picture that we took. We gave, this one was law enforcement officers. We gave Crime Stoppers $6,000. And so we did a big check ceremony in front of our office, and then we had pictures of all of our people and someone from Crime Stoppers. So we posted that. I posted this about 2 weeks ago. But one thing, as I'm sure y'all know about Facebook, no one likes to be bombarded like 90 times a day with like the same sort of thing. So we will try like scheduling it out for different times. So this is how we post. So we'll just come up here, we'll create content, we'll go to Facebook posts. I can post to multiple sites at once because we have 3 Facebooks linked to it. We have Cormie's, Berkshire Brothers, and David's Supermarket, and all those, so I can post to all of these at one time, put yada yada yada, this is so cool, add a picture, add anything I want to it, and then I can hit publish now. Down here I can obviously go into, I can schedule the post. If I want to add a label, which makes it easier to be found, I can add a label. We don't typically do labels. And then I can also tweet from here as well. And then here is our engage section. This is what brings in Gradientit. So I've sorted through our content. If Stacy ever refers anything to me, it'll pull up here. And then this goes into further details. Because she can refer Cormie things to me. She can refer a bunch of different things to me, and only the Berkshire Brothers ones are going to pull up into this column. You see right here, the dollar store is high, Walmart sucks on meats. That's what someone posted on our Facebook. I don't know why, but they did. And this pulls in not just our comments. This will also pull in anyone who direct messages us, anything like that. It will pull in from blogs. It pulls in from blogs, Twitter, Facebook, any social media basically you can think of, it can pull in from. Let's see if Dr. Madison's stuff is up there.
I bet it's not on Instagram in there
That's
too.
me. That's you? Okay, well, it worked on someone, so I'm not sure why it wasn't working for Dr. Madison or hasn't pulled up Dr. Madison. But hey, someone made it through here. And from here, like I said, I can, I'm not logged into Facebook and Twitter of Berkshire Brothers from this computer, so I can't favorite it right now. And I'm not going to log in because I'll probably forget to log out. But this is just a cool way. I can look at Twitter as well, anything that's pulling up on our Twitter. Now, it takes a while for the Radiant 6 information to get put into this stream of things as it does, than it does on the actual Radiant 6 website. So we always say if you want to look at Radiant 6, to go to this dashboard instead of looking over here. And then this is just every Radiant 6 for Berkshire Brothers core meets and things like that. So when I'm right here, you can see right here. Here it is. She just tweeted. I don't know why Dr. Madison isn't showing up.
I think my privacy settings are like open to the public.
Okay.
So I don't know. This is most curious. Also, there seems to be some with the SFA wireless. It's like I can post the 4G, but I can't seem to do it with our wireless network.
The wireless here is real sketchy.
Yes.
So this is sort of this is one aspect of what I do at Berkshire Brothers, is I help monitor, I help post things to that extent. But I think one thing Dr. Madison also wanted me to mention and bring into is how I got my position at Berkshire Brothers. So I am, like he had mentioned earlier in his introduction for me, I am involved in a lot of activities and organizations here on campus. I was an officer in Traditions Council, if y'all know what that is. They're the ones who put on homecoming and the Doches pageant. I'm an officer in ODK, which is the National Leadership Honor Society here. I'm an officer in that, and I'm a PRSSA officer, and I'm in Hunger Jacks, which is we give food from Aramark, and we go and we'll deliver it to things. So I'm involved in a lot, and by chance, one of my friends, she told me that on orientation, I'm not an orientation leader, but someone had posted in the orientation leader Facebook that Berkshire Brothers was looking for a public relations intern. She just happened to know I was looking for an internship. I was going to go back to Houston, but I had an apartment here, like I have a life. I was like, well, if I could get one here, that would be cool, and I don't have to leave, and I don't have to worry about someone someone sketchy taking over my apartment. It just seems to be the best of both worlds. Well, then Berkshire Brothers, they just asked Veronica Weaver to post on Facebook and see if anyone was interested. So I found out, I emailed into the email, and they went ahead and set me up with the interview. They had no clue who I was. I sent them my resume, and that was it. So I go in there, and the lady actually has worked with one of my references. Her name's Lacey Claver here, and she and Sally at Berkshire Brothers has worked with her and knows her well. And I had all these like extracurriculars on top of maintaining above a 3.0 GPA and doing things with Dr. Madison and his classes and things like that. So I went in there, and I had no clue anything about Berkshire Brothers. I Googled it like 10 minutes before I went in there. I've gone to Berkshire Brothers, like here in Nacogdoches a couple times, but I didn't know. I just walked in there sort of blind. It was my first internship interview anywhere. And I walked in, and they asked me all the standard questions, like what do you want to do when you grow up or graduate, whatever we're calling it now. What do you want to do, and what do you see yourself, and how do you know social media, and what can you, things that I've learned throughout classes. I have all the social media accounts. I have the Instagram and the Twitter and the Facebook and all like the YouTube channels. I have all that. And I said, well, here's this. But I'm also the youngest person in the office. So before I got hired, I was telling them things, they asked for what's one thing you could suggest to get the SFA students involved. So people, because when we did a focus group, most people thought Berkshire Brothers was a hardware store, which is not, that's not good. That's not what you want your brand to be known as. So we turned around, and she said, so what's one thing that you think you could do to bring people in? And I had an answer, and I told her, I can't remember what it was now. This was back in March of this year. And I just gave her an answer, and she really liked it. And I found out later that there was 4 other people who also came in for an internship interview, and what set me apart was my extracurriculars. That's what she said. She said, you had the most experience. You had leadership experience. Even though I wasn't the only PR major from SFA that applied, and I wasn't. There was a PR major from A&M who applied, whose dad actually worked at the company. And so it got really awkward. He didn't have any leadership experience, and she said it's the extracurriculars that set me apart. And so she said, and so that's why I was offered the paid internship, and he was offered the summer unpaid internship. And so, which also, you know, I didn't realize it would be paid until I got there, and they're like, hey, what's your, you know, and I was like, yes. So that's also really exciting, I thought. But I didn't realize, and when I asked her, because, you know, he came in and he goes, I go to A&M, and you're scared. I don't know about y'all, but I was terrified that I wasn't going to stack up to these people who came from super prestigious universities, like huge, you know, like A&M. Who doesn't know A&M? Who doesn't know, you know, Texas A&M? And I was terrified. And she said, you came in, you had extracurricular, and you like proved yourself. I was able to answer questions confidently, and I was sure of who I was. I didn't know at the time there was anyone else applying, but I also knew, like, here's what I want to do, here's what I want to help your company with, let's see what I can do. And she said, that's what set me apart from them. So I went in there, I started in May. I actually started 2 weeks before before junior year ended, and I started by going to all those Blueberry Festival things. Then I wrote it out and did the whole summer, and I worked 30 to 40 hours a week, and I would go into the corporate offices at Lufkin, and I would drive in, and I worked there 30 to 40 hours a week, and then they turned around and they, in August, our COO, John Alston, he pulled me aside and he said, let's have a conversation. And that scared me. I was like, oh no, I'm getting fired. This is going to be crazy, ridiculous. So he pulled me in and he goes, we want you to come work for us full time. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. That's super exciting. I'm a student. So one thing that Berkshire Brothers does with me is they work with my schedule. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I go in from noon till about 5 or 6. Thursdays, I go in after 3. There we go. Dr. Matson. Woo! Okay, so Stacey's going to see this and go, what's up? And then SFA students, and he put a picture of me, and that's a little concerning. Oh, okay, it's not, but, so he went ahead and put a photo of me. So you see it does slowly come in and it filters itself out. But so that's how I got my job at Berkshire Brothers. And they, so one thing, you know, we've talked and I've had conversations with all my bosses, and they know this counts as my 1 year experience because I do have a job there. This counts as like sort of my experience I need to grow. But it also, you know, they have offered me a job after, like a salary job after I graduate, which is exciting. And that means someone else, Dr. Matson already knows, someone else has to take over my internship. So, you know, Dr. Matson's taking a look around, and I'm taking a look around, and someone that I feel confident can take over, because I'm not gonna lie, I did a hell of a good job, guys. So you know, someone's got to like live up to my my standards. I'm not trying to brag. I just did really good. So that's, you know, he's already taken a look around. I've taken a look around because someone has to come in May and sort of do the weird grunt work that I did. Because now I have, not just in terms of social media, I'm in charge of the donations committee there, and I'm in charge of all the invoice writing for public relations and for donations. So I do a bunch of different things there, and so they've already moved me over. And I work a lot. My friends sort of hate. They're always like, well, you know, we have to work around Taylor's schedule. I work a lot, but I do, but I like what I do. This is what I wanted when I was taking these classes and dealing with Dr. Madison and all that. This is what I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to learn about this stuff and get a hands-on experience and see how all of it was going. And so I just walked in there and I said, this is what I want to do. Help me help myself. And so now I'm writing press releases as well, and I'm doing things that I thought when I was taking Dr. Madison's class, I was like, I don't know if I'm learning, you know, as much as I should, or I don't know how I'm going to stack up to A&M. And I got there and I realized they're confident in me and I know what I'm doing. I was taught what I was doing through his classes. So, does anyone have any questions for me? Yes.
So you can delete negative posts? Like you were saying earlier, so like if someone's like Berkshire Brothers.
From here, yes, we can delete negative posts. We have a company policy that we do not delete negative posts. We try responding to them. Now, if someone, well, every company is going to have their own type of ordeal. They're going to have their own way they want to decide. If they tag us in it, we can hide that post, and we can say we don't like that, and we can hide it. That's not our company policy. We don't. If they like add us in it and say, you know, like Berkshire Brothers, like down here at SFA, I could report. I can go ahead and delete. It says right here, delete, and it could be gone. I don't, and our company policy is we don't do that. Now, if they add us, we will try responding to them, either directly at them and saying, hey, here's the thing, or we'll indirectly like release something that lets them know that we've heard their concerns. One thing right now is it's called Rachel Ray Dinnerware, and so when you come in and shop with us, you get you earn stamps to get free dinnerware. I don't know. It's and so a lot of people said, well, this is stupid. Why would I spend this much money to get free dinnerware when I could just buy the dinnerware for cheaper? And what it is you're getting paid to shop. People are already coming and shop with us, so now they get to earn something for it. And it was just a matter. So we released on our blog that said, hey, you're getting paid to shop, and sort of address the issue without addressing anyone specifically. Now, some companies do delete, and some people do. If they don't like it, they'll hit negative, they'll delete it, and they don't have to see it. But if, Dr. Madison, hashtag Berkshire Brothers, when we see things like that, we try not to invade your privacy and tweet at you and say, hey, saw that you had a bad experience. We'll try if it's really bad, because we have people who say, they didn't sell me beer and I'm so pissed. We're like, well, what was the issue? Were you trying to use a fake ID? That happened once. It was real funny. This guy was tweeting, he was so mad at us, and he was like, they didn't sell me beer, and on his Twitter it says he's 19. And we were like, well, we can see that, it's public, so we don't sell to underage. So people really just don't think about what they post before they post it sometimes. So if y'all, this is a personal recommendation for y'all, if y'all have social media, I always err on the side of caution and say you would not want your ultra-conservative grandma who still believes that you should be escorted around on dates to see something on social media, then don't post it. Or if you are going to post it, if you're going to have your super explicit Twitter that says F this and F that, make it super private. Make it where people have to send you, don't put your real name on it, because they checked all my social media before I got hired there. They checked my Facebook, they checked my Twitter, they checked my Instagram, and they checked my YouTube blog, which I was like, what the heck, guys, this is weird. But they wanted to know, and they said, do you have any other social medias? And they handed me a list of all my social medias. Do you have any other social medias that we're not aware that we need to monitor? Well, first off, if I did, I probably wouldn't have said it. But they gave me that chance to be, hey. And I used to have a super inappropriate Twitter that was F this and F that, and this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. And then when I started looking for internships and I started reading, all those columns online, I was like, this isn't professional, and this isn't what I want someone to see. I was using my Twitter as a place to vent out of frustration, and I was like, that's not what I want someone to see. And so I deleted that. I have a professional one at Taylor R. Grimes that people can pull up, and I'll tweet news things from that, and I'll tweet funny instances. My dog ran into pillows, was knocking over pillows, so I thought that was funny, and I tweeted that, but I don't have anything I wouldn't want my ultra-conservative grandma to see on any type of social media network. It's a good rule of thumb, so just sort of keep that in mind, because if your information's public, I can go on here, and on my work computers I am logged in, but I can go in and see all this that he's talking about. First birthday party ever. She didn't quite understand what that meant and kept thinking it was. I can see all that from y'all. Companies can see that by putting in, if I wanted to create a topic profile and put just my information in there, I could. So that's just something to keep in mind.
I'm trying to think about having anything inappropriate up there. I don't think I do.
We can find out.
Kids and stuff.
Here we go. So, this is all public, so that's how I can see it. There's no privacy setting, so I can go down, and now you'll know his Instagram handle. So let's hope he doesn't have anything inappropriate on there. So, but all that's just public information that you don't think about, and then there it is that we can see, and it goes so in depth, tweets and replies, if someone replied to him. This is all on a public Twitter, so your Twitter could be on there, and I can see all your stuff. this is also one thing that I have to do to monitor this, is we'll have employees who will like talk on here, and so sometimes they're not posting positive things. They're posting how stupid they think their shift is, or they're posting. One lady posted how she thought her boss was like, she just called him all types of names on social media, and she said Brookshire Brothers. She had a public Facebook. She said Brookshire Brothers, but she didn't tag us. We could still see that. We went back, looked. She was on the clock when she was posting this. So she was working for our company on the clock, saying all these negative, awful things about one of our store directors. So what we do is we send it off to our CEO, we send it off to HR, and we send it off to the store director. And they all get together and they have a meeting about the employee and they decide. And I know for a fact that people have lost their jobs over what they posted on social media. So that's just also something that's like the weird, dark side of social media as well, because it's all public now. I can see it all. So, you know, there's consequences. You can't just talk negatively about the person who's paying you money and not expect something to come of it if they're monitoring it. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, if y'all do have any other questions, I'm in two of Dr. Madison's classes. You can find me around here. You can find me in PRSSA, in the ODK office. You can find me. You can tweet me. You can Facebook me, whatever. And I can answer any questions. I can help you as much as you want. And then Dr. Madison, he knows, and there are other organizations that know me and know my work I do, and they ask for interns. So when I find internship opportunities, like at the chamber, they were just asking for one. If I don't know someone personally that I feel confident to take over, I'll ask Dr. Madison to see if he can recommend anyone. So if you have any questions, just let me know and I can help you out.
Wait, I've got a question. We're just now starting to offer a social media miner.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you may not be familiar with the content of it yet.
I've seen the list on, yeah.
Do you think that, what do you think, what role do you think social media miners will play in the job market in the next 4 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years?
Well, the social media miner I think is really great because it gives you a lot of like different insight into how best practices for social media. But one thing about social media, it's always changing. Like there's always something new coming out. There's always something. I don't know, for a while there, it was called Elio or Elo. It was supposed to be like
what happened to that?
Like the better Facebook because there wasn't supposed to be ads. Like so when that came out, you know, you have to like sort of stay on top of it because social media will change so quick. It is like, you know, you get the Facebook updates all the time, and now you have to have a messenger for Facebook. You know, like everything's always changing. So I think the social media miner is going to be a great opportunity for people to learn a lot of what they need to know for social media, but you also have to know, you have to stay up to date. Like public relations, you have to know what's happening. Some of the best social media things I've ever seen is Kit Kat when they did the Bingate tweet. Have y'all seen that one? Or Oreo when the lights went out in the Super Bowl for the stadium and they said Oreos are good even in the dark. Like they were on top of what was happening, what's currently going on, like what's trending, and they released something to like help better their brand. If you haven't seen, I showed this the other day in Dr. Madison's class too, because I think this is like the best tweet ever, so I'm not. That's a picture of it. So this is a tweet from Kit Kat. Have y'all heard of Bingate when the iPhone 6 Plus they said could bend? Yeah. And everyone was freaking out. They're like, oh no, I can't get an iPhone 6 Plus. So Kit Kat released within like 45 minutes, we don't bend, we break. And then hashtagged what was trending currently and had this funny picture. Like that's just some way they like stayed relevant and on top of what's happening. And then the Oreo Super Bowl one, that one was also a great example of just being aware. You know, if you're not aware of what's happening, if you're not aware of what a tag is that's currently trending on Facebook or trending on Twitter really, then don't use it without investigating, you know. So that's also another Oreo Super Bowl tweet. You can still dunk in the dark. So this is, the lights went out and Oreo's like, got this. Like, that's so simple, so easy to create real quick, and it was so relevant. Everyone found it funny. It was like one of the most retweeted tweets of the Super Bowl. You know, they had all the crazy things, and then here's Oreo, and you're like, got it, this is awesome, and super easy to do. So that's just one way to like stay relevant. I think the social media miner will help will help delve a little more into social media and what's important and what's great about that. And then it's also, I think, a good way to investigate the new and current trends that are coming out. Obviously, I'm graduating this year, so I cannot do the social media minor, but I got a crash course at Berkshire Brothers, and this is just a small company. Like, our PR and our marketing are in the same department. Like, in most larger companies, that wouldn't happen. That's why my official title is a marketing assistant. But in most companies, public relations is different from your marketing and your advertising side of things. So when, I sort of have my hands all over Berkshire Brothers because I'm in charge of the donations committee as well. So it just depends on what kind of company you go to and things as well. All right.
Any more questions? I've got a question. Nobody else has one. Any questions?
Would you say you work long hours? Because you're talking about you work forever, and then not to mention if you're trying to make posts, probably right after Super Bowl is like what, like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So you make posts like that, so it's kind of like a 24-hour job almost.
Well, we don't really have any. We don't do things as quick as Oreos or anything like that because our graphic designers are separate from our social media people. Like I can do like the big fake check that was on that photo. Like I do that. I have a template and I just type in the values or whatever. Like that. We're typically not trying to stay so current on this. Like if there's an event that's coming up, like when we have our wine tastings in store, we'll go and we'll take a picture and I'll post it from there. Like I go to a lot of like Saturday gigs. Like when we sponsored an SFA game, the second game of the year, I forgot who we were playing. We sponsored a game for that, but I like tweeted a picture and I Facebooked from there. I wouldn't say I have Sunday off. Like Sunday's like my day. I take off. Like I do whatever I want to do. I go whatever. I work within my hours, and then if I have something to post, because my email will come and chime in, like during class and stuff. Dr. Masson's really great about working with me. Like I'll miss class tomorrow for the donations committee. He's great at working with me because I have like a real life job. So he'll work with me, and so I can like answer emails during the. But like one of my professors hates. She will not let me answer emails. She's like, don't touch your phone. Like, oh, okay. So like I'm out for that hour and 15 minutes, and in my job they work with me, so they know like during this time, like it's on Stacy's desk, like she can't really contact me within this time, so I won't answer or reply. So I wouldn't say I work long hours. I work now with like school and everything. I work about 25 hours a week, not including like the hours I log at home. But at home, like I can do it from like 11, 12 at night. You know, when we're already up, like. And I'm just like, last night I was working on like spreadsheets, so like coupons, we were making coupons, so like it wasn't anything too intense. Like I still have to focus on my schoolwork, obviously, because Dr. Masson, like his campaign class is killing me. I hear you over there. But you know, so like I have other responsibilities, and that's just one thing I have to like balance out. It's like a work-life balance type of thing.
I have a question. I know like some people, like when they are in charge of social media, before they send out a tweet or Facebook post, they have to go through like
An approval process?
Yeah, you have to do that, or can you just like tweet or
So one of our vendors that we use, they have like I can just tweet straight from I log into my account and I can just tweet and there's no like approval process. On Social Studio, which is here. I actually have an approval process. I have to go, so me and the other lady, we have to approve it before it goes out. We check for typos, we check for spellings, anything like that. I don't have anything, I wish I had thought about it and brought something that I could publish and show y'all. But when I come to the end of it, I add yada 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 and all that, and I hit publish now. It gets sent to Stacy, and Stacy will read over it, and then she has to approve it. And then once she approves it, then I'll hit publish. And so that's a safeguard to make sure, because some, you know, like with grocery stores, and just about anywhere, there's like words or like brands, like you don't know the exact spelling of. The other day I misspelled like Marie Callender's, so like it's spelled like a calendar, and it's not. There's like 2 L's and it's D-E-R, not D-A-R. Like, and so I misspelled it wrong, and so she saw it on there, she turns around, she fixes it, and then hits publish. And it was really embarrassing because like the picture had the like Marie Callender's in it, and I just wasn't paying attention. So so this site does have a safeguard on it. Gradientit, I can refer post to her, and you all saw down here, like I can refer post. Where wherever it went down here, like the, oh, it's this. But there's like that thing that says refer post here, workflow. And so that, I just send it to her, and if we have to like reply to something, then we will. And we'll, so like for me, we can just reply. Someone there posts like, because they have like, I don't know, some sort of deli they do. And so it's like baked ham with cheesy scalloped potatoes. And if we wanted to like assign that to someone. But before we post on Facebook, we both have to like, it's like a safeguard to make sure we're spelling everything right. I didn't, if I type something up at midnight to be posted 3 weeks from now, then she can see, and if I was sleeping and I like felt, I don't know, so something like that. And it's really cool on here. It will tell you, I guess the best example of that is tweets. Like it will tell you how many characters you have before you like run out. So as I'm like typing, you see like goes down there. And then when you add like, so you always add your photo first to make sure. I don't know if there's like a picture on here I can show you. But if I wanted to, like it will try adding it in there, and it will say like either the file size is too big, yeah, file size exceeds allowed, or I could post a picture in there and it takes up 100 characters, and I don't have 40 characters to work with. Like it just depends on how big the file size is. All right, any other questions?
I've got a question here. We talked a lot about, in this class we talked about like a reactive PR stance versus a proactive PR stance. Mm-hmm. And kind of what I'm getting from Gradientit 6 is a lot of it looks reactive. It looks like there's some proactive stuff like promoting fried chicken and things like that. What other types of proactive stuff do you guys do? Do you guys put out videos or anything? Or?
We do. So like one thing, we're a big sponsor that's called the American Cancer Society Cattle Barons Gala, and it happens in Lufkin, and it was just last week. And so they have this big YouTube video, and some of it was filmed in our store, and so we share that. So if there's relevant content, like we're in charge, we also give $10,000 to the designer purse bingo, and I forgot who. Oh, Harold's House, which is a special needs. We give a lot. We're a very charitable company, so we gave them money. And so when they post something about us that is positive, or they said thanks to Berkshire Brothers, we'll either retweet it or we'll actually take that content and put it on our Facebook and things like that. So we try staying relevant and things like that. But like I said, also sometimes when people post things on there, and it may be negative, we will like address it without addressing them specifically, and so we'll post like that blog post. So like one of our new programs is called Celebrate, which is like a rewards program. It's like you'll get coupons and stuff that you blast in your mail, in your email. So it's called Celebrate. So that people will say, well, I'm not getting my emails, and they'll badmouth us on whatever. So what we'll do is we'll go up there and we'll post, here's what Celebrate is, and here's how to make sure you still keep your coupons. And we'll just sort of keep it without addressing them specifically, because if they didn't tag us, they were just trying to vent probably, using their Facebook or Twitter as like a venting system, and they weren't really trying to get us to do anything. Because if you don't tell someone about the problem, how are they supposed to know about it? That's so if they don't specifically tell us, then we'll just walk around, we'll like address the issue without addressing them and letting them know that we can see that stuff. Because y'all know that we can see this stuff, but like the general public doesn't have, most of them don't realize that we can see that, like Big Brother or whatever. They don't actually realize there's a software that you can pay money for that can search it and look at you for it.
What other questions do we have from Ms. Grimes?
Yeah.
Did y'all ever use a picture of me and chicken?
Yes, I did. Yes, we did. I think we put it in one of our Facebook albums. I like SFA. I think it's called like SFA Back to Jack or something. It's Facebook album. So he's an orientation leader, and one thing we did is we sponsored all the meals for orientation leaders. Are there any other orientation leaders in here? No? Okay. Well, we sponsored the meals for orientation leaders, and so what he's talking about is we went and we took some pictures. Obviously, that was a lot of money to sponsor that, and so it was, I think, $10,000 to sponsor it, like including all the food. So obviously, we wanted people to know, like, we gave this money to like help college students, so we took pictures and we'll post them on Facebook, or we'll go out and things like that.
Another question for you. So how often do people share or retweet the different things that you guys put out? And any ideas why they do it? Is it a personal characteristics and the message resonates with them? Or?
I think it depends. I'm about to show you on here. I'm going to show you on here. If we posted something, like we'll look at something in the past, and I can click it, and then down here it can say engage. It shows engagement summary. So we had 51 total interactions, 34 likes, 1 comment, 3 shares, 13 clicks, and it reached 108 people. And then other clicks, photo views, things like that. So this post, and I forgot what post this is. This post, oh, we have a grand opening, a ribbon cutting for a pharmacy. And so it will show us performance and how different posts are doing. Even if we don't post from this site, if it gets posted on like our social media, it will let us know how the engagement and performance is doing.
What are the most popular ones that have been shared or engaged? Or
our most popular ones are ones, they are our double coupons, and we double coupon. If you've ever seen like extreme couponing, we used to be one of the stores where they come and they can like put down like 5 of the exact same coupon. And then we realized we were like owing a lot of people because our policy is like we'll give you money back. So we were like owing all these like extreme couponers like tons of money. And we were like, okay, so let's take it down a notch. And so now we only have certain weeks where you can come and like double and quadruple your coupon. So we post those, people love it, and they get so excited. And they're like, yes, I'm going to double my coupon at Berkshire Brothers. One lady walked out the other day, it was real funny. She walked out with 100 packages of hot dogs. So she had all these like manufacturer coupons, and she brought them in because we were doubling, and she did different transactions because we don't really have a rule against separate transactions, and they were doubled, so she had 50%. She had 50 cents off. They doubled to $1 off, and the hot dogs were $1. So there she goes. She walked out with 100 packs of hot dogs, and she like called ahead and like special ordered us to have these 100 packs of hot dogs for her. And we were like, oh dang, like we know something serious is about to happen. And she actually has Sally's number, our public relations lady. She has her number, and so she'll call her and she goes, okay, here's my list of things I need ordered, and she'll like, we'll get them ordered for her, and she comes in. It's really cool to see. Like she'll come back and be like, I owe nothing, and she has like carts full of stuff. I forgot what store she is. She's at like Hallettsville or something. Like, so she does. So she's like an extreme couponer, and so we have double coupons. So those always go over really well. And then when we give to food banks, our engagement with food banks, people really like that, and we'll find like we just gave 300 packs of potato flakes, which sound real gross, but you know, like the instant potatoes. Whatever. So Betty Crocker like was getting a new look for their potatoes, so they were asking for all the potato flakes to be sent back. But what they do is they destroy them. So they were going to destroy all this good food. We knew it, and we saw an opportunity because we were sending all our stores were sending back 300 cases. So we called up Betty Crocker, and they're like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and donate it to a food bank." So we donated all those to the East Texas Food Bank. They came, filled up their big truck, and sent it off to the East Texas Food Bank. And so that. You know, most of our stores are centered in East Texas, so we try giving back to the communities we have stores in. And that's a lot, for public relations, that's a lot of what I do when we have events and we're giving money. Like, I'm either in charge of going out to them or arranging with the store directors to make sure we have, like, good visibility out at the store, at the store and at the actual event, and getting pictures so we can post on Facebook. Okay. So I think that's about it. This is like one, all of our, like in our Montgomery store, they like dressed up for Halloween. You were allowed to dress up through the company. And so this was like a post that they dressed up and everyone's real excited. But it didn't do that well in terms of like interaction. So we can see that as well. So we get a gauge of what the audience likes and what they feel for. All right. Any other questions? Dr. Masson, any other questions?
I'll have more after you're gone. That's
Yeah.
how it usually works. This has been fascinating. I mean, Gradientit 6. Are there other softwares you're aware of out there that like Gradientit 6?
There are. The reason we use Gradientit 6 is because we use Salesforce, And so we have a big contract with Salesforce, and they're all together. So we haven't found a company that does all of it so inclusively. And so we have donation requests, they come online now. And so we log into Salesforce and we look at donations requests. And then this is, Gradientit is through, I think up here it showed, Salesforce Gradientit. And then Social Studio is a Salesforce item. So all of it was very easy and manageable. We had the same login throughout the whole thing. My class was actually about to expire, which means all of them will expire at the same time. And I always freak out because I can't log into one. I'm like, oh man. So I have to actually go back to Salesforce and change it that way so that all the other sites work as well. But that's why we use this. There are other websites and stuff that we know, but we'd rather just pay one large sum to one of them than have to pay a whole bunch of different companies.
All right. Last call for questions. This has been fascinating. I appreciate you coming today.
Absolutely. And I will see you in class.
And so you guys are on the prowl for a new intern?
Well, officially I won't, my internship, because I'm labeled as the intern in the system right now, so won't come up until around May, but they'll start interviewing in like March.
Okay.
So, I do not have any business cards with me because that would have been smart and I was not thinking that way. But I can drop them off to Dr. Madison and you can pick them up that way. Or you can email me at tgrimes@berkshirebros.com. It's real creative, real fun. Or, like I said, find me in any one of the classes I take here or on campus. You'll see me. I always look like I'm really angry. I'm not. I swear it. I'm like really nice. I promise. I just have like a perma bitch face. Good. Okay.
Thank you, Taylor.
You're welcome.